My name is Jack Miller, and I hit the floor in front of my whole family on Christmas Eve. Gravy soaked into the front of my shirt. My hip screamed where it met the hardwood. The chair leg scraped loud enough to cut through the music. And for a half second I thought maybe I'd just lost my balance. That this was some humiliating accident I could laugh off if I got up fast enough. Then I looked up and saw my stepson Ethan standing over me. "This seat belongs to my dad," he said, loud and steady, like he'd rehearsed it. "Get out." For a moment, nobody moved. The Christmas lights in the window blinked red, green, red again. Forks hovered halfway to mouths. Someone's kid sucked in a sharp breath and whispered, "Mom." I waited for my wife, Susan, to say my name. Not yell. Not argue. Just say Jack, the way you say someone's name when they matter. She didn't. She grabbed napkins and knelt. To blot gravy off the hardwood floor like the spill was the emergency. Like the man on the ground was just clutter. That was the moment something inside me went quiet. Not anger. Not shock. Something colder. Something final. Cedar Rapids, Iowa has a way of sanding people down. You don't get flashy here. You get steady. You get known. I'm 56 years old. I've lived by the same rules since my early 20s. Show up, keep your word. Pay your bills early. Don't borrow what you can't repay. At our age, your name isn't just what people call you, it's your credit, your reputation, your proof that you didn't waste the decades you were given. That's why the chair mattered. It wasn't just furniture. It was my father. My dad's chair was old oak, heavy, with arms worn smooth by decades of hands resting there. The back left leg had a squeak that never quite went away no matter how many times. I tightened it. When he was in hospice, that chair sat by the window. He'd watch the parking lot like he was waiting for someone. Sometimes he'd ask what time it was. Sometimes he'd just hum. After he passed, I couldn't leave the chair behind. I hauled it into my garage, tightened every joint, sanded it down, stained it walnut, and repadded the seat myself. My hands cramped. My back ached. I didn't care. Fixing that chair felt like keeping part of him alive. When Susan and I married, second marriage for both of us, I brought the chair into her split-level home like it belonged there. And for years, it did. On holidays, it sat at the head of the table. Not because I demanded it, because that's where the host sits. And I'd been hosting more than anyone wanted to admit. 2 summers ago, Susan's kitchen started to embarrass her. The cabinet sagged. The faucet leaked constantly. The lighting made everything look dingy and tired. One night she said, "I hate having people over. I feel like they judge." So I dipped into my savings. Menards runs every Saturday for a month. Cabinets, faucet, sink, hinges, tile. I laid that backsplash piece by piece after work. Hands cramping, knees sore, radio humming old country. When it was finished, Susan cried, covered her mouth and said, "Now I can have family over without being embarrassed." I believed her. I thought we were building something together. I didn't realize I was renovating a house. I didn't own in a family I was only renting space in. Ethan was 32 and still carried himself. Like high school football might call him back any day. Broad shoulders. Short fuse. The kind of restless energy that turns into entitlement when things don't go right. He bounced between jobs. Warehouse. Sales. Construction. Always. Something temporary. Always something that wasn't his fault. He never called me Dad. Just Jack. I didn't push it. Then Mark, his biological father, reappeared. Mark was loud, confident, the kind of man who mistook volume for authority. Susan said he'd been mostly absent when Ethan was a kid. Lately, he'd been making up for lost time, which meant spoiling Ethan and letting him believe. Mark was the only man who mattered. Mark insisted on coming to Christmas dinner. "It's important to Ethan," Susan said. "So am I replied. She smiled tight. The smile that means please don't make this harder. By 5 o'clock, the house was hot from the oven. Turkey smelled thick in the air. Old Christmas music playing, the kind my dad used to hum. I made coffee the way Susan liked it, strong and plain. Ethan came late, of course. Mark right behind him. There he is, Ethan said, clapping Mark on the shoulder. Man of the hour. Mark grinned at me like I was hired help. We Saturday. Plates clinked. Someone said a prayer. I reached for my dad's old carving knife. That's when Ethan grabbed the back of my father's chair. Hold up. I looked at him, confused. What are you doing? That seat belongs to my dad, he said. Get out. I laughed, thinking it had to be a joke. Then he shoved me. 2 hands. Hard. The chair scraped. My boot caught the rug. My hip slammed into the floor. Gravy splashed across my shirt. And Susan wiped the spill. Not me. The spill. I stood slowly. My hip burned. My pride burned worse. I waited for Susan to look at me. She didn't. So I walked out. The cold slapped my face awake. I sat in my truck gripping the steering wheel like it was the only thing keeping me upright. Behind me, laughter floated through the window like nothing had happened. Ethan texted first. You embarrass my dad, you should have just moved. You're just a guest in this family. I didn't reply. At dawn, my phone buzzed again. A credit alert. My score had dropped. Hard. New account. New inquiry. The credit union confirmed it. $18,400. I was listed as guarantor. I never co-signed anything. The signature said Jack Miller. Only my father ever called me that. This is a fraud statement, the credit union rep said. If you sign it, we investigate. I didn't hesitate. My name means something, I said. Susan finally admitted it. You would have said no, she whispered. That's because no is a full sentence. The courtroom smelled like old paper and disinfectant. The judge listened. The audio played. He'll pay it like he always does. He's just maintenance. Silence fell like a verdict before the gavel. Susan faced restitution and separation. Ethan lost his truck. His job offer disappeared. Mark vanished. Weeks later, I went back for the chair. Not in anger. In truth. It creaked once as I tied it down in my truck, like it remembered me. That night, I sat by my window in my father's chair. Snow fell. Coffee cooled. Silence settled. Not the silence of being ignored. The silence of belonging. Respect is a two-way street. If you burn your side, don't expect me to keep mine open. I didn't lose a family. I lost the illusion that I had one. And what I gained was steadier than love built on obligation.